What happens when you combine battery rental infrastructure, digital advertising, and decentralized communications into one network? You get Voltage Nexus. Every generation builds infrastructure, roads, railroads, cellular networks, the internet. Today, a new network is being built, not by corporations, by people, by communities, by partners. Battery rentals create utility. Advertising creates scale. Infrastructure creates long-term value. This isn't just a kiosk, it's a growing network, a growing platform, a growing movement. One city, one community, one kiosk at a time. The future is being built. The only question is, will you help build it?
And just like that, it's launch day. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know for some of you, a few of you, maybe this felt like forever to get to this day. To me, it feels like it happened like that. And man, my wife is my witness. For weeks now, I've gone to bed around 2 a.m. and woke up at 7 a.m. running on nothing but pure excitement. And I've been looking forward to this day of coming on here and sharing with you what we've built and what the incredible opportunity that we have in front of us. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to get right into it. I want to be very conscious of people's time. I greatly appreciate all of you being here with us tonight. And we're going to talk about something, like I said, very, very exciting, called Voltage Nexus. Now, I see a lot of familiar faces on the call. I probably don't need to go through and talk about myself a whole lot. That's the last thing I want to talk about is myself. But maybe it's important if there is someone on the call that doesn't know who I am. So why am I building this? I can promise you one thing. I did not build Voltage Nexus to sell kiosk. That's not on my bucket list, right? I have no desire to build out a company that's selling battery rental machines. Okay. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean here in a minute. But what keeps me up at night is thinking about what I build in helping create community-owned, decentralized infrastructure. And I think when you fully understand how powerful that is, it's going to keep you up at night too. I'm a former law enforcement officer. I did 13 years in law enforcement. The last couple of years, I worked undercover narcotics and robberies. I'm an entrepreneur, and I would like to be known as an infrastructure builder, as some of you will probably want to be known by the end of the call. I helped co-found Intact Security and OTEC Surveillance, both brick and mortar companies that employ about 60 people. I'm the founder of Voltage Nexus, real business, real infrastructure with a real vision. So the question is simple. What if you could go back? You know, on that little short video we had at the front of the call, at the beginning of the call, it says that every generation has built infrastructure. If you think back, we had the railroads, we had our modern road system, we have the internet, we have cellular network. There's infrastructure being built all the time, and every generation has been responsible for participating in creating some form of new infrastructure, right? AI is a big one right now. What if you could go back and participate in some of those? Some of them you could participate in and others you couldn't. I have a little bit of knowledge on this because my grandfather was actually someone who did, for a short amount of time, participate in infrastructure. Him and a group of people, and I don't know all the details, we're going back some time, but they actually had an opportunity to purchase a strategic piece of property, purchase a cell tower, and then they received monthly residuals from the usage on that cell tower. Now, fast forward a little ways, some big company came in and bought them out, and I don't know all the details, but they were able to invest in an opportunity of helping build infrastructure. And what I'm here to tell you today is the opportunity is in front of you again. We are going to be the first people to build out the largest decentralized community-owned infrastructure, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do it. What is Voltage Nexus not? It is not a battery rental company. It's community-owned infrastructure network. Now, does it rent batteries? Absolutely. Battery rental is simply the first service. It is the forward-facing utility. It's what you see when you look at the kiosk. But is it solely a battery rental company? Absolutely not. I would go as far as saying that the battery rentals is almost the undercover agent. It is what allows us to get our foot in the door and get these kiosks placed all around the country. What we're really doing is we're tapping into three massive industries, billion-dollar industries with one community-owned network: battery power, battery bank rentals, digital advertising, and decentralized communication. Now we're going to break down all three categories, and I'm going to show you what I mean and how we're breaking into these. But what I want to make very, very important, very, very clear, I don't want to get on this call and share my opinion, share my thoughts or my ideas. If I share my opinion, I will tell you this is my opinion. I want to get on here and I want to share some data with you. And I want you to fact check me. How many Zooms have you been on? And you can honestly say that the person presenting told you, when you get off this Zoom, you have homework. I want you to go to ChatGPT and fact check me. I want you to go to Google and fact check me. I want you to do your own research. You probably haven't heard that very often. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. I want you to do your own research. Do not take my word for anything, because once you do your own research, you'll feel the same level of conviction that I have. So let's talk about battery rentals, because I feel like a lot of you on the call tonight don't understand how big of an opportunity this is, because I certainly didn't. I probably don't need to tell you that modern life runs on mobile devices, right? And 6.9 billion plus smartphone users. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day, and they spend about 5 hours on their phone. As ridiculous as it sounds, battery anxiety is a real thing. Right? It's number one concern for a lot of people, especially young people. I have an 18-year-old, and he doesn't go anywhere without his charger, right? It's a very serious concern of his. But people need power everywhere, every day, and Voltage Nexus is the solution. Just today, I ordered my lunch on my phone, right? Jimmy John's. It took me 5 minutes, and within 15 minutes, freaky fast, Jimmy John's was here, all from my cell phone. You almost don't even need a laptop anymore. But it's a proven global industry that we're getting into. The industry already exists. We're not trying to make something that doesn't already exist. We're just trying to fill the need. The North American network does not. But if we look over in Asia, we can see that this is a proven market. My argument to you is that the people in Asia are people just like we're people. They have cell phones just like we have cell phones, and their batteries die just like our batteries die. Energy Monster, and you can write that name down and look into this when we get off the call. They are one company in China that does power bank rentals. And one operator reported more than 656 million charging orders in 2023, showing massive consumer adoption of shared charging infrastructure. I want to point something out. I didn't say $656 million. I said 656 million times someone walked up to one of their kiosks and they rented a battery. Now, assuming that they only rented it for 1 hour, with Voltage Nexus, it's $4 for the first hour and $3 an hour every hour that you keep it for 24 hours. So assuming that all 656 million rentals were only for 1 hour, and let's say they did it for $4 a rental, you can see how just one single company in this industry generated billions of dollars renting batteries. You probably didn't realize how big of an opportunity that was, because I certainly didn't. You see, the question is not whether the industry works. The question is, who will build the network? Who will supply the need or the demand? So the perfect locations already exist. The network doesn't need to be invented. The venues are already there, and I can show you how these people are essentially begging for the kiosk. Because as partners, your jobs are not to sell them. I don't want anyone to sell any kiosk. I want you to give them away for free. I don't know if you've ever tried to sell anything for free, but it is substantially easier than trying to take money for it. So, and if you haven't tried it, you're about to get an opportunity, because bars, coffee shops, airports, hospitals, gyms, bowling alleys, concert venues, shopping centers, the venues are endless. And we're providing a solution to the problem. Why would they take it? Well, we'll just briefly talk about it. They're getting something that their competition doesn't have. They're increasing dwell time. They're increasing repeat customers, because if someone rents a battery and they leave, they have to come back. And once the kiosk is established, it's going to increase traffic because people will go there to rent a battery. So there's multiple reasons. And when we get into the training aspect of it, we're going to break down exactly what you say and how you say and what kind of venues you should look at. But the important thing to realize is the locations are already there. And we already have early venue commitments that are already in place that are asking for these already. Let's talk about digital marketing. Now, this next slide is not to try and convince you that digital marketing is a massive industry. I think everyone on this call would agree that no matter where you go in the world, digital marketing is a billion-dollar industry. Just in the US alone, digital advertising reached nearly $300 billion in 2025. That's 13.9% growth year over year. The reason I point that out, like I said, is not to convince you that it's a big industry. It's to show you that at 13.9% growth year over year, not the entire demand is being filled. There is incredible amount of opportunity in this space. And I'm going to show you not only how we're going to take a chunk of that, but how we're going to fix the problem in the marketing space. This is why entrepreneurship is so exciting and fun to me. If you want to be successful, you really need to do two things. You need to find a problem and then create a solution. If you make people wealthy, if you help people at their problems, if you solve their issues, you'll be successful. And that's what Voltage Nexus is about. So why is local advertising broken? Most small businesses simply can't afford to advertise efficiently. The old way is expensive, wasteful, and ineffective. I told you I own two companies, a security firm and OTech Surveillance. We've ran ads and we've spent lots of dollars on marketing in the past, and 90% of the time it's turned out to be ineffective. The new way is affordable and targeted and effective. Now, you can have one of those in almost anything you do. If you want super targeted, I strongly suggest social media ads. I can jump on Facebook, I can run an ad, and I can target the exact person I'm trying to get in front of. But is it going to be affordable? Absolutely not. Is it going to be restrictive? Absolutely. So how can we get affordable, targeted, and effective? See, local businesses don't need nationwide exposure. They need customers nearby in their area. The problem is not advertising. The problem is targeting and effectiveness. We're going to talk about how exactly we're going to solve that problem. But before I do, every single kiosk can hold up to 12 ads. Who's responsible for selling those ads? Say you purchase a kiosk, you deploy the kiosk, you give the kiosk away for free, and you're generating the income from the battery rentals. But you want to start generating income from the advertising revenue as well. How does that work? Well, it's not on you alone. The marketing, the advertisement is sold through marketing agencies that we're partnering with, media buyers, venue owners, you yourself, the kiosk owner, you're obviously able to sell the own ads on your own kiosk, self-serve marketplace, and corporate ad sales. Touch base on a few of them. Corporate ad sales, think about it. How much would a prescription-based company be willing to pay to run their ad on 2,000 urgent cares and doctor's office screens across the country? How much would Bacardi be willing to pay to run their ad on 3,000 kiosks and 3,000 busy music venues, bars, and nightlife across the country? The opportunity is insane. But what really gets me excited is our self-serve marketplace. Voltage Nexus is creating the Uber of digital advertising. And what does that look like? Earlier today, I told you I ordered my lunch on my phone. It took me 5 minutes and my lunch was here in 20. I can I can get on Uber and I can have a vehicle come pick me up from anywhere in the country and drive me anywhere I want. And I can do that in about 5 minutes. But how come when I go to run a Facebook ads, it's restrictive, confusing, and very, very expensive? I don't know if anyone on the call tonight has tried to run Facebook ads, but if you really don't know what you're doing, you end up blowing a lot of money with very little results. It should be as simple as if I can order an Uber, a vehicle, and I can order my lunch just like that, I should be able to do the same thing with marketing. And that's what Voltage Nexus is creating. You hop in the mobile app, you choose your location by city, state, radius, zip code, You pick your specific venue. Do you want it in a restaurant, a bar, a gym, a bowling alley, urgent cares, whatever the case may be? You upload your ad and you launch and go live. What if you say, I only want to advertise in bowling alleys in the 34475 zip code? You plug it in. We have 7 bowling alleys in your zip code. Upload your ad, launch the campaign. The ads go live on the kiosk throughout the zip code. Very targeted, very effective, and very affordable. Any business, any budget, anywhere. Now let's talk about decentralized communication, because this really gets me excited. I know the crowd tonight. I know a lot of you very well, and I know this is probably what caught your attention, right? That word decentralized is so catchy, and it should be, because it's the way of the future. But what does decentralized communication even mean? I'm going to show you how we're going to build the largest decentralized communication network. It's private, it's resilient, and it's powered by you, the partners. So if you've been around crypto a long time, you've probably heard of a project called Helium. And if you haven't, write that down and do some research on Helium. I absolutely loved that project. The idea was right, but the execution lacked. The execution left us a lot of lessons. And I'm so extremely grateful for my time in that Helium project, because I learned a lot. What Helium did show us is that people will help build decentralized infrastructure if it benefits them, right? Token hype alone is not going to do it. If you base everything on crypto and tokens, and it's just not going to work. Real world usage must support the network. So why is Voltage Nexus any different? And what was Helium trying to do? Well, Helium had these things. They weren't really miners. There were these little boxes, right? This one was made by Rack. And you could put a small antenna on this and you could sit it on your windowsill. And depending on how much coverage you provided, you could go to the Helium network map and you could look at this map just like it was Verizon or AT&T coverage map. And you could see exactly how much coverage you were providing to the map. And based on the amount of coverage you were providing, you would generate more crypto. And you see, this exact same one was generating me just over 30 coins a month. And the coin was, don't quote me, 14-ish dollars at the time. So it wasn't bad. I was making 400 something dollars to have this little thing plugged into my office. Now I got crazy with it. I hooked a coax cable up to it, ran it through the attic, and put a big old antenna on top of the roof. And I was providing a lot of coverage. And when it started to work for me, I said, why stop at one? I had these things shipped out all over the country. There was so many just in my city alone, because I was knocking on businesses and venues and asked them, hey, can I put this in your venue? I'll split it with you. And we had built out this massive Helium network. And you would go look at the coverage map, and every day it would just populate more and more of these rack antennas. And we were building out this decentralized IoT, Internet of Things network. And because the whole thing was based on the price of Helium, the thing kind of fell apart. The network got really crowded. The production dropped from 30 coins a day to about 1 coin a day. And then the price of the coin dropped down to about 14 cents. And it just wasn't making any sense. I had worked out a deal with these venues. If you let me put it in there, I'll split it with you. And I'm showing up with 7 pennies, and they're wondering why they're still keeping it plugged in. Rightfully so. So what happened was, slowly but surely, people unplugged them, and the whole infrastructure that they built came crumbling down. So how can we learn from their mistakes? How can we be the ones to create this massive decentralized network? And it's simple. We need to create the utility first. See, I took this technology, I took a LoRa node mesh-tastic radio, 915 megahertz, and I know some of this stuff I'm saying, it's just, you didn't need to do some research. You don't have to know all of this. But the same technology that was in this, essentially, I took this technology and I placed it in the kiosk. So as you deploy the kiosk, every time you deploy the kiosk, you're strengthening this decentralized network. And because it's not based around a token or a crypto, it's based around battery rentals and ad revenue, and it's generating income, why would anyone ever unplug it? You see, we build out real infrastructure, and then the token layer comes. Infrastructure first, utility than token. So this is exactly what it looks like. And hopefully you're going to get some clarity on what all this really means. Every single kiosk strengthens the network. Each kiosk does more than just power devices, right? More than just battery rentals. Each deployment expands this decentralized community-owned communication infrastructure. If you look behind me, you'll see a kiosk right back there. This kiosk is what you're actually seeing on the map there. I'm sitting right at this location here, and this circle is showing you the amount of coverage that this kiosk is currently providing. Everybody in that circle has decentralized, resilient communication because of this kiosk. And me and my wife were flying back to Florida from somewhere about a month and a half ago. And I was able to pull out one of these LoRa nodes. It's the size of a credit card. It's about that thick, but it's the same size as a credit card. I Bluetoothed it from my phone, and using this decentralized network with my phone on airplane mode and absolutely no Wi-Fi, no internet, I was able to text multiple people from 30,000 feet up in the air on airplane mode. Completely encrypted, completely decentralized, untraceable, unstoppable, incredible communication. Why is this important? Well, have you ever heard of something called Hurricane Katrina? It was a really big deal, right? Knocked out power. We have emergencies across the country all the time. But what if it gets even worse? What if an EMP or something horrible happens and communication goes down? Our system is really resilient enough to be there for people in the worst case scenarios. And the amount of PR that we're going to be able to obtain from that is going to be incredible. In my county alone, a representative from the sheriff's office reached out to all the churches in the area, and they asked the pastors if they would be willing to install this technology on their steeples. Why? Well, because of a worst case scenario. What if something really, really horrible happens? At least they have the ability for emergency management to communicate and help their citizens. So the more kiosks is the more coverage and more resilience. Now, can this be monetized? As of now, absolutely not. We can use it. We can communicate on it. We can send small bits of data through it, completely decentralized, but can we monetize it? As of now, no, there's no way to monetize it. It's not really being used. But if we build it out, and we are the biggest providers, we are the biggest owners of this decentralized network, can it be monetized in the future? I truly believe it can. See, the future is crypto, but it needs to be done correctly. This is where I'm going to share my opinion with you, and you have every right to differ and disagree. It is my personal opinion that the reason why crypto was invented, not necessarily Bitcoin, but the majority of cryptos after Bitcoin, the reason why it was created is to either solve a problem or to enhance utility. One of the two. And I give you an example. If you try to wire money from here in America to, say, China, and it's anything over like $10,000, I have to physically go to the bank. I have to sign some paperwork. It needs to go through an approval process. And then I pay them like $60 or so to send the wire. And then I have to sit back and twiddle my thumbs and wait 2 days or so for the wire to show up. And then crypto came along, and I could all of a sudden send this money with one click of a button, just like that, with nobody's permission needed. And it only cost me a few cents. So the crypto truly solved an issue. So it is my personal opinion that crypto projects should not be launched just for the sake of launching crypto projects. Crypto projects should be launched once utility is established. Once a problem is established, crypto is then launched to either fix that problem or enhance the utility. And that's exactly what Voltage Nexus is planning to do. I have no desire to launch a crypto project. This is not a crypto project. This is a battery rental project. This is digital marketing. This is decentralized communication. And once we have the utility, once the network is built out, then we tokenize. Then we launch the Voltage Nexus coin after we have the utility. You see, we're building more than kiosk. We're building the future. We're community owned. We're economic empowerment, resilient infrastructure, and sustainable impact. I can promise you this. If Voltage Nexus was to absolutely explode and we were to generate millions and millions and millions of dollars, and a couple years from now, it crashed, I would consider it an epic failure. I have no desire to build something that's going to generate millions and millions of dollars and not be there for me to pass it down to my kids, be there for you to pass it down to your children. I want to build something with longevity, something that is future-proofed and something that you can be proud of being a part of. This isn't just infrastructure. This is our network. It's our future. When we build it, we own it, and we all win. This is real ownership. It's real impact, and it's real change. So what does the timeline look like? Well, have you ever seen one of those maps and it says you are here and it's got the big red dot? This is Voltage Nexus's launch Zoom. You guys are being a part of history right now. I truly believe so. Thank you so much for being here. But if you look all the way to the left, you'll see number 1, and it says pre-orders happening now. You are here. That's where we're at. Now, there's some really exciting things about being so early to the game and being at the ground level, right? But there's also some things that kind of stink. And the pre-orders are happening now. Manufacturer order placement is on June 22nd. That's next Monday. Okay. This is not something we can just grab off the shelf and monetize. We are manufacturing these devices. There's a lot of technology that we're putting into these devices to make them do everything that we're trying to do. So it's not something that we can just go grab off the shelf and rock and roll with. So we're taking pre-orders now. The manufacturer order is being placed on June 22nd, and the first batch is expected to ship August 1st. Now, the good news is kiosk sale commissions are active now. If you decide to join with us, if you like the vision, you do your own research and you say, okay, Mitchell was spot on with some of this data. I like what I see, and you decide to move forward with us, you can start to earn commissions on kiosk sales instantly. Battery rental monetization will be instant upon deployment. Ad space monetization will be instant upon deployment and ad sales. Decentralized communication will be instant upon deployment. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Voltage Nexus coin launches January of 2027. Once the infrastructure is built, the utility is built, and the liquidity is there. Real business, sustainable revenue, real utility, future-proofed, and forward thinking. It's important to know you won't build it alone. I have no desire to sell 10 million kiosks and then them all sit in your master closet. Okay, we are going to help you along the ways. We're going to have weekly trainings, real support, a community that wins together. We're going to have our weekly live Zooms with Q&As. We're going to have venue placement support, marketing and ad support, technical support, sales and ad training, because we truly want you to grow. No one succeeds if you purchase a bunch of kiosks and don't place them. No one succeeds if you never purchase kiosks. So our mission is to help you and show you exactly how to get these kiosks placed, how we can make you the money to replace the income you use to purchase the kiosk, and then scale up from there. Tools, training, community, everything you need to succeed. And if you decide to move forward with us, you will get an email shortly after that's going to send you a link to our private Facebook community. And that's where we're going to be sharing a lot of more information, training calls, everything will be in there so you can stay connected and up to date on what we got going on. Now, earning disclosures. I told you earlier that if I was to make hundreds of millions of dollars and Voltage Nexus crashed and burned a year from now or 2 years from now, I would not consider it a success. I would consider it an absolute epic failure. And because of that, I will always be over and beyond on these things, okay? I want to make sure that we are operating 100% within regulation. I do not want to operate in the gray area. I want this to be around for our children. So bear with me with that in mind as I read this. The examples and scenarios shown in this presentation are hypothetical and for illustrative purposes only. They are not guarantees, projections, or promises of income. Actual results will vary and may be higher or lower. Your success depends on many factors, including but not limited to effort, business experience, venue selection, foot traffic, kiosk utilization, market conditions, advertising sales, team development, retention, leadership, and other variables. The examples do not include potential advertising revenue, operating expenses, or taxes. Voltage Nexus does not guarantee any level of income or success. There is no guarantee that you will earn any income at all. The opportunity is real. The results are not guaranteed. Your success depends on your effort, leadership, and decisions you make. So I'm going to share with you what the opportunity of the kind of income looks like. But I wanted to keep it very realistic. I don't want to get on here and throw some crazy numbers out there. I want to show you what it looks like if we never monetize ads. We never sell a single ad. I want to show what it looks like if we never monetize our decentralized infrastructure we're building out. I want to show you what it looks like if we never generate a crypto and we only make income from battery rentals, period. Now, once you're in there, you can get on that same calculator and you can play around and you can do whatever you want. But I'm going to show you what it looks like just for battery rentals. And I put together a couple slides here to show you, and I'll just go through them very quickly because this is recorded and you're more than welcome to go back and look at this. But I actually want to show you what it looks like here. Just give me 1 second. This is a calculator that we built in the back of the dashboard for our partners. And the way this works is I pulled the data, and once again, write this down and do some research on your own. According to the data, a battery rental kiosk in a decent location will generate between $400 and $900 a month. That is not my opinion. That's not my thoughts or ideas. That is what data says. Now, I can guarantee you one thing. If you purchase a kiosk and you plug it in your master closet, you will forever and always make $0 a month. Okay? That is my one income claim. But for the sake of argument, we put this at an average monthly revenue of $650 because it fell between the $400 and $900 mark that the data shows us. Okay? So I want to talk to two different people on the call tonight. I want to talk to the person that says, Mitchell, what you showed me so far is kind of cool. It's exciting. I'm not telling anybody. I'm done telling people. I'm done getting involved with opportunities only to see them go away. I would like to participate, but I'm not telling anyone. Fine, that's beautiful. We need people like yourself. And I'm going to show you how you can generate yourself a very, very good income if you put in the work without telling a single person. So let's say you come along, right? We have 0 ads that we're selling. That's at 0. And we've purchased 1 kiosk. You can see that your take home is going to be about $260 a month. Not super exciting, not anything crazy to write home about, but bear with me here. How long would it take you to pay off the kiosk that you purchased? Being the kiosk are $975 and the data is correct and you generate $260 a month, how long would it take you to pay off? Just under 4 months, right? So let's say in 4 months, you decide to reinvest into your company and you purchase another kiosk. Now that kiosk is generating $520 a month. How long would it take you to pay off the kiosk? About 2 months. You reinvest and you buy another one. How long is it going to take you? About 5 weeks. Let me ask you a question. If you proved to yourself that this was working and it worked every single time, why would you stop? Why would you stop when you have a proven method to increase income for you and your family? Now, is this guaranteed? Absolutely not. Is this what the data says? Absolutely. So what I want you to do, if you decide to partner with us and you get in that dashboard, you'll see at the top left, it says, or the top right, it will say calculate. I want you to put a number in your head and figure out what that looks like. How much income do you need to generate each month for you and your family to be comfortable? Maybe it's a pretty big number. Maybe it's, Mitchell, I need to generate $15,000 a month. If I generate $15,000 a month, me and my family are exactly where we need to be. Okay, well, then you can go in here, you can see exactly how many kiosks you need to make that happen according to the data. So that's 58 kiosks. So you need to get to a point to where you have scaled to 58 kiosks. Is that hard work? I mean, you're not sweating doing it, but yeah, it's not easy. It's going to take work. This is taking the longevity of a brick and mortar and combining it with the power of affiliate marketing and decentralization, right? These are combining the two worlds to get the power of both. the power of community, the power of decentralization, the power of leverage, but we're also partnering with brick and mortar to build something with longevity, to build something sustainable, something that you can be proud about doing. I'd like to talk to the person that says, Mitchell, I love the idea of leveraging a community. I have a lot of friends and family. I'm a pretty popular person, and I want to tell everybody. What does that look like? Well, let's just say that you go out and you purchase one kiosk. I want to keep in mind, there's a lot of networkers on the call tonight. A lot of people have a lot of incredible experience. Some of you I look up to, you have a lot more experience than I do. And I'll tell you that if you talk to someone about the opportunity and they say, well, what did you do? 99.9% of the time, they're going to do exactly what you did. With that being said, I think if you're going to work the opportunity, work the business, everyone should have at least one kiosk, right? But you don't have to. You can join us for $30. $30 allows you to become a partner with Voltage Nexus. You get your affiliate link, you get access to the Facebook, all the tools, all the training, and we will hold your hand and we will help you through this process until you get to a position to where you can afford to purchase your own. So you don't have to. But if you have the ability, I strongly recommend everyone purchase at least one. And let's say that you go out and you tell 10 people. Now, I want to make it clear that we could be here and go through 1,000 what-if scenarios, and we could play these numbers 10,000 ways. We'd be here till tomorrow. But so bear with me as we just go through one scenario. You tell 10 people, and let's say those 10 people go out and tell 10 people. Cliche and gross, I know. So you have 100 people on your tier 2. And say those 100 people go out and they tell 10 other people because they bought it. They got the kiosk. That kiosk started generating incredible revenue for them. They proved to themselves that, hey, this works. When people get excited, when people make money, when things work, they talk. And let's say those 100 people went out and they told 10 people. You end up with 1,000 people on tier 3 and a residual income of $15,665 a month, and you bought one kiosk. Now, these aren't my ideas. They aren't my thoughts. These numbers are based on data that I have encouraged you multiple times to go check yourself. But let me ask you a question. If every single person on your team was generating that kind of income and it was working for them, would they stick to owning one kiosk? Probably not. And this is the last example I'm going to give you, and we're going to move on from this, but this is where it gets pretty crazy. If they purchase one kiosk, they paid it off, and they see the income that's coming in, why would they not purchase more? So what if everyone on tier 1 said, you know, I want 4 of these working for me? Everyone on tier 2 did the same thing, and everyone on tier 3 did the same thing. The residual income is very substantial. So this is the opportunity that we're working with. Now, I'm going to go back here to this screen. Give me one second. I shared a lot of information with you. A lot of it was probably, if you're not a crypto person, maybe some of it was over your head. Maybe you grasped it all. But regardless, I know you have questions. So this is what I recommend. Get with the person that invited you to the call tonight and ask your questions. If they can't answer your questions, go to voltagenexus.com. We have an FAQ section. You can go through that FAQ and try and get your questions answered. If none of that works, please feel free to reach out to us at support@voltagenexus.com. Support@voltagenexus.com. We will have lots of trainings coming up. If you decide to move forward with us, it's $30 a month to become a partner. That gives you access to all the trainings, that pays for your SIM card inside of your kiosk when you do order your kiosk. Every kiosk has a SIM card built in, so you don't have to hook it up to Wi-Fi or nothing like that. You simply plug it in, it connects to the internet. So that $30 a month covers your SIM fees, it covers AWS servers, and it gives you full access to our community. Once you decide to do that and you get into the Facebook, please feel free to reach out to me, introduce yourself, and let's get to work. But if you have any questions in the meantime, support@voltagenexus.com. We will see you here 7 p.m. next Wednesday, voltagenexusmeetings.com. The URL never changes, voltagenexusmeeting.com. And we will see you next time. Thank you guys so much for being here. I greatly appreciate your support and your love.